Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jimmy John's Field for a clash of the Eastside. We have the Diamond Hoppers going up against the Utica Unicorns here today on this beautiful afternoon. Be sure to come join us at the ballpark. It is Minion Day presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment, so I'm sure we're going to see plenty of fun costumes here. Jenna Rose alongside Jason Ross Jr. to bring you the pregame show. Heading into this matchup here today, we're going to have two right-handers taking the mound, Zach Jones for the Utica Unicorns and Pierce Banks for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. But Jason, let's take a dive into Jones' arsenal. Yeah, Jones is making his 7th start of the season today in a Utica Unicorns uniform. So far, he has the lowest ERA on that starting rotation at 1.89 entering this wonderful Sunday afternoon. You examine his arsenal, G. He has commanded all three of his primary pitches so far this year, the slider, the changeup, and the two-seam fastball. The changeup is one to point out because he didn't start throwing that pitch until really the latter stages of his college career, and it's become a key part of his weaponry as a pro. It's because it comes out of the same arm slot and really looks the same out of his hand as the fastball, which sits consistently in the 90s, while the changeup tends to hover in the 80 to 84 range. So those two pitches have worked very well in tandem with one another, and hoping to see that continue today against this Eastside team. Well, stepping in for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers is going to be Pierce Banks, who is part of a crucial tandem with Hayden Pierce. We saw plenty of Pierce power the last time the Diamond Hoppers faced the Unicorns. They struck out a total of 13 batters, Banks attributing for 6 of those, kept the Unicorns scoreless through 4 innings of work, not a single run allowed, stranded 5 runners on the base for the Unicorns. So it's going to be very key for the Unicorns to get ahead in the count today, but dialing into Pierce Banks, what has made him so successful against the Unicorns in games as of late is making sure he's incorporating the usage of his four-seam and curveball, really giving it a different look every time he steps onto the mound. And you're also going to see his two-seam and a sprinkle in of his changeup here and there. So it's going to be key for him to keep on using that pitch mix and just to keep the opposing batters off balance, looking to see if he can replicate that success that he found against this same Unicorns lineup not too long ago. But Jason, the Unicorns are coming in. They are the visiting team away today. So let's take a look at who's stepping up to the plate. Frankie Luxka is back in the leadoff spot for Utica after batting 8th last night. Colby Johnson slides up to the number 2 spot. He'll play in right field. Drew Galassi will play in center field and bat third, one of the lefties in the lineup. Noah Childress will bat the cleanup spot and do the DHing role once again today. Isaac Phillips plays in left field, returning to the lineup for this Sunday game. He will bat 5th. Donovan Curiel will be at shortstop and batting 6th. Tucker Rayburn does the catching, and he'll bat 7th. John Hodo will bat 8th and play at second base. It'll be Kevin Lambert rounding out the lineup, batting 9th and playing at 3rd. Leading off and patrolling center field is going to be Ben McConnell for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. He has really been drawing walks greatly as of late. Up next is going to be Colton Horner, who will be catching today for Banks. He'll be batting 2nd. Batting 3rd, Pedro Castellano at second base. And in the cleanup spot is going to be Felix Abaret, who is on a hot streak. Last game he played marked the 2nd time in back-to-back games that he recorded a home run. He will be the designated hitter. Greg Vaughn Jr., another power bat, will be in left field batting 5th. Joseph Burke, who has been making a splash here in USPBL, will be at first base batting 6th. Will Krishina will be in right field batting 7th. Christian De Los Santos batting 8th, manning the hot corner. Adam De La Cruz will be at shortstop today and rounding out that lineup for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. You won't want to miss it. Minion Day here at Jimmy John's. Utica Unicorns versus the Eastside Diamond Hoppers.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well-earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
Your neighbors are going to be jealous when they see you're getting a new Connecticut water system. Say goodbye to hard water problems. No more spots on your glassware. Your laundry will feel and smell better. Your hair and skin will look and feel better. Say goodbye to hard water problems and say hello to great tasting crystal clear water with CGC Water.
Welcome back to Jimmy John's Field, everyone. Jeremy Adona alongside Jenna Rose to bring you the call here today. Jason Ross Jr., the third member of our team, he'll chime in throughout the broadcast here today on Minion Villain Day. And our fine broadcast is sponsored by the following: AAA, Ascension, Balfour Property Restoration, Budweiser, DTE Energy, Fifth Third Bank, Jimmy John's, Macomb Community College, McLaren Macomb, Metro Detroit Chevy Dealers, Pepsi, Scott's, Valpak, and UWM. We thank all those fine partners for what they do for this league. Time to take a peek at your pitcher comparison, brought to you by Ascension, as always, here in the 7-inning scheduled game today, and a sunny, muggy Sunday once again. You have Jones going for the Unicorns and Banks for the Hoppers, Jenna.
Well, it is a beautiful day for some ball, Jeremy. A little bit stuffy, but diving into Pierce Banks, the right-hander, coming off of a pretty impressive performance against the Utica Unicorns not too long ago. 4 innings of work. Didn't allow a single run to cross. The Unicorns stranded 5 on base, struck out 6. But diving into what we can anticipate to see from Banks today is a heavy utilization of that 4-seam fastball and curveball, and can also incorporate that 2-seamer down in the zone, slider, and changeup. So can really change eye levels, Jeremy, and it's going to be key for him to get ahead in counts today against this lineup. And for the Utica Unicorns, it is going to be right-hander Zach Jones. He comes in with the lowest ERA on this starting rotation, 1.89, and we're really going to see him incorporate that 2-seam and changeup here today.
Time to take a peek at your standings, brought to you by Scott's here today. The game's winding down as these two teams look to either stay where they are or edge up. The Hoppers looking to jump the Mammoths with a win here today. They're 16-13 overall. The Unicorns trying to hold on to that top spot at 19-12 as well.
Yeah, looking back at how the Unicorns performed last night, they took a minute to get a hot start. We could see that the Beavers were able to jump first, getting a run on the board. Connor Bagneski crossing the plate, but today it's really going to be key for them to string together some hits. Colby Johnson got the party started during the 4th inning for the Unicorns, sparking 3 runs, plenty of line drives, so it'll be key for them to work the count, get on base, because when that lineup is working together in harmony, it's pretty potent.
Well, and after the game here today, it will not be, a public game per se, but they will finish up a game that was not completed between these two teams earlier. They're in the process of kind of trying to do that with all the rainouts and the makeups that we have to do. We saw a couple played on Tuesday. That was for the game where the tornado warning went off in the end here at Jimmy John's Field in late July, and a few more to finish off next week as we head closer and closer to the USPBL playoffs starting the week of the 10th, 11th, and 12th. All those tickets on sale at USPBL.com. First pitch, Unicorns and Hoppers next on the USPBL Network. Stick with us.
So I was snowboarding in Lach, Switzerland at a snowboard competition, and I did basically 2 flips and 1 rotation coming out of it.
David had a bad injury to his shoulder and unfortunately was unable to continue doing what he liked to do sports-wise.
I knew I was going to be out of commission for a little bit.
We were able to do surgery, do this arthroscopically, do this outpatient, minimally invasive.
The sports medicine team at Ascension, Michigan really helped me get back to soccer and working out, but also my main goal, competing at a global snowboarding competition.
Throughout your life, from big moments to ones well earned, we're your financial guardian angel. Alliance Catholic Credit Union.
About the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Jeremy and Jenna back with you here from the ballpark. Sunny day, these storybook puffy clouds above us here today. Getting ready for some more Sunday baseball at the ballpark. All the kids rushing off the field. Always fun to see them here today as well. And Pierce Banks about to take the hill for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers here today.
Banks has 28 2/3 innings of work under his belt so far this season, walking 12 batters and striking out 35. Very interested to see what he gets to use today when we look into that arsenal. Talked about it a bit before. Flashes of the 2-seam slider and changeup, really honing in on his 4-seam and curveball. We're at the point in the season, Jeremy, you know, all of these teams are very familiar with opposing lineups, what each batter's weak spots are, what they're capable of. So interested to see how Banks attacks the strike zone today against the Unicorns.
A reminder, you can chime in with us on Facebook and YouTube in the chat sections of things. We appreciate you joining us on this fine Sunday. One of the last Sundays in this USPBL season. Not next week, but the week after, to start September, we will give you a Thursday through Saturday rotation, and then for the championship weekend it will be back to Friday through Sunday. So things kind of winding down, kind of jarring after we had, you know, all those games in a row where it was starting on Wednesdays and then stretching to Sunday, but slowing down a bit in terms of all the games played at this point.
It's slowing down, but, you know, they are keeping it fresh. We've seen a couple of new faces come on in here to the USPBL, and it's been exciting to see the veterans in this league take on that challenge and the new players start to make a splash.
We've yet to see Duncan Hewitt. He is a new addition to this Unicorns team. We saw Bobby Komitas come back last night for the Unicorns. A solid arm for Jim Essien last year. Big reason why they were able to take home a championship in the end. And here comes Frankie Luska. It's Luska, Johnson, and Galassi leading things off. Brought to you by Zach Hart Agency here in the first.
Bit of a different look for this Unicorns lineup today. Kind of going back to normal. Luxka in the leadoff was batting 8th last night.
First pitch fastball at 86 is in for strike one at 1:06 p.m. Here on August 22nd. Crazy that August is already starting to wind its way away.
Yeah, the dog days of summer. I'm glad you said that today was the 22nd. I wasn't really sure what day it was anymore.
87 degrees at game time here, 59% humidity. The sun really hasn't gone away during the day, though. That makes it feel a lot warmer. 7 p.m. game last night, which is kind of strange for a Saturday as well when you're used to those double headers. But a quick turnaround for the Unicorns here today.
Banks ahead early in the count here. 2 strikes on Luxka.
0-2, chopped over to Castellano. Routine play for him, 1 up and 1 down. Let's check the rest of the defense behind Banks here today, brought to you by AAA of Michigan. It's Vaughn Jr. in left, Ben McConnell in center, Crushena out in right. De Los Santos and Burke on the corners with Castellano and De La Cruz up the middle. Colton Horner completing the battery today.
You know, I feel like that was something that was a little rare to do there, Jeremy. Getting 2 strikes right away on Luxka. Typically someone who's very disciplined at the plate and good at putting it in play.
And even if he falls 0-2, it seems like more often than not he's crawling back. 2-2, 3-2. Gotten a number of walks that way so far this year.
Yeah, Banks was just really living on that outside corner of the plate, so Luxka knew that he had to get his barrel out on it.
The last time that Banks pitched, quite the outing combined between him and Pierce. Banks went 4 innings, 3 hits, no runs, just 1 walk and 6 strikeouts through 70 pitches. And then his counterpart came in and struck out 8 in relief. 2 up and 2 down.
Routine play there over at short for Adam De La Cruz. So far, so good for Banks, inducing groundouts.
Something he does at a pretty good clip here in the USPBL, nearing that 50% mark. But right up there with A.J. Coleman and some of the other better ground ball pitchers. Seems like a decent amount of pitchers this year are inducing ground balls, but also striking out hitters at a fairly high clip. Sometimes when you see those high ground ball numbers, sometimes it means low strikeouts for those particular players, but that's not necessarily the case for Banks. He's has a strikeout rate of 11 per 9 coming into today.
Found success last time against this Unicorns lineup. 6 strikeouts through 4 innings of work.
In a case, maybe he would have gone a bit longer the way he was pitching in that game, but they are watching him fairly closely at this point because of the heavy inning load that he had in college. Breaking ball in for strike 2, 1-2 on Drew Galassi now. It's a 4-seam, a 2-seam, a knuckle curve, a slider, and a changeup for Pierce Banks. His 2-seam technically the sinker, which is how he draws a lot of those ground balls on. 1-2, looking for a K here, and Galassi will check but not go forward here. This is certainly going to be a key bat if the Unicorns want to repeat their championship last year. Him and Childress, we saw some good ABs from Childress yesterday. If they can start get rolling a bit more, can mean good things, I'm sure, for this team. Banks flustered that he can't bury Galassi here.
It's pretty interesting seeing the shift that's on Galassi right now. Looking back to last night's game, infielders weren't necessarily moving whenever he was stepping up to the plate.
Now the full count pitch, shifted foul. And more teams have started to do these shifts as the year has gone on. I feel like the Hoppers weren't one of them, though, early when teams started to show this look, but they've caught on that this is kind of the majority of where his balls go. 3-2 swing and a miss. Couldn't catch up with it there, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Pierce Banks. Pretty nifty. Gets Luska 4-3, Johnson 6-3, and Galassi swinging as well. Time for your sweetheart of the game, presented by Thrifty Florist here today. JJ is there to present the flowers. It's Alina whose birthday is today, so happy birthday. Celebrating at the ballpark in your front row seat as well. Thrifty Florist is your sponsorship of the sweetheart of the game. Back with more after this on the USPBL Network.
Attention Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys. Come on and keep me satisfied.
Jeremy and Jenna back with you here from the ballpark. Zach Jones takes the hill. His 11th appearance of the year, 7 starts. He's really settled in to that starting role. His last outing was Friday, so a bit longer for him, but the Unicorns games are kind of slated later in the week this time around. 7 1/3 innings. He's given up 4 runs. Or he gave up 4 runs in that outing, I should say. 2 walks to a strikeout. But before that was on a pretty good streak. His first 2 home runs of the year given up in that game on Friday. So looking to bounce back a bit here today. Still was out there 7 innings, though, which is the most length we've seen from him. 1 up and 1 down as Phillips handles that fairly easily.
McConnell sending that into deep left field, making some solid contact for his first at-bat of the game. As of late, we've seen McConnell really make his way down to first base. Has a strong ability to draw walks.
Let's check the rest of the defense as you take a look actually at the team comparison there. Batting average higher for the Hoppers and the Unicorns coming into play today, which is something that was kind of opposite at the beginning of the year, but this Hoppers lineup has continued to kind of figure it out, adding a few pieces here or there, finding where guys are comfortable, and it's worked out quite nicely for them. 1-1 here on Colton Horner, the catcher. Pedro Castellano would be next. Your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up here in the first. Way out in front of the floating changeup there, 1-2. Likes to mix in that slider and changeup nearly evenly. Slider usage a bit more higher as slings the fastball inside and high at 90. Colton Horner, solid game his last time out, 3 for 3. Johnson staring straight into the sun, finally fading over a few more steps for the second out.
Johnson was absolutely electric in right field last night. He made 2 solid catches out in right field, one where he was shifting in between Galassi a little bit. But man, he definitely has some wheels and can patrol right field with ease.
Here's Pedro Castellano now. Looking to get the first hit of the ball game for either of these two teams. Unicorns went down 1-2-3 in the first. Lambert charging in from his position at third base. Everybody else pretty back on the infield. Center fielder Galassi playing fairly shallow. In line with the second base bag as the fastball rains away, 2-0.
That fastball typically sits around 90, 92 miles per hour and really pairs well with that changeup, sitting around 80, 84 miles per hour.
Great pacing here by Jones as he works a 1-2-3 inning. Luska playing first. He's been there a few times this year, played there a lot in college, but is tested right away, and both of these pitchers work a 1-2-3 frame.
Elite athletes want to be closer to what fuels them. So we built them a gym behind the milk section.
What's going on here?
Oh, they're training.
What? In the milk section? What is happening?
What you guys are doing here?
I've always had milk in my fridge, but I've never really trained in a fridge surrounded by milk. I feel like I've been able to level up my training and do things that others haven't.
No, they're training back there. It's a full gym.
Hey guys, keep it up.
Being close and nearby milk, it's how I hydrate, it's how I recover. It's important to be at arm's reach.
Childress, Phillips, Curiel, the middle of the lineup up for the Unicorns against Pierce Banks here in the second.
As you said before we went into commercial break, Jeremy, good pace for not only the opposing pitcher in Jones, but also in Banks. Only took him 10 pitches to get through the first. 3 up, 3 down. 2 by way of ground outs and a strikeout on Drew Galassi. Ooh.
Ground out, strikeout. What'd you see there?
No, I was just going to say, really looking for Galassi to get more consistent in the plate, because at the beginning of the season, had that extra base power. Then there was a stint where he was constantly producing singles, and as of late, he drew 2 walks the other night, but has had a couple strikeouts since then as well.
Childress, a couple good at-bats yesterday. Looking to stretch that back in today as well, as Banks dips that one in for strike 1.
And most of those were line drives up the middle or a hair to the left. And he's someone who wouldn't necessarily describe himself as a power hitter.
Wipeout pitch there as Childress took a little half cut at it. 0-2 on Noah.
But when you do have that pop in your bat, when you make solid contact, it can go over or pay dividends.
Banks in the driver's seat here. What does he go with? The 0-2 fastball high after 2 straight breaking balls to begin this at bat to Childress here in the second. Pounds it over the head of Castellano at second base. First hit of the ball game for either team.
Nice work by Childress in the box. Square it up, time it up, and send it into right field.
Some more cloud cover over the field, but the sun's still kind of brightly shining through it. There is some possible rain later in the forecast. We hope to stay away from that here today, but I think we've gotten lucky this week to not see anything just kind of pop up, how humid it's been. Short lead for Childress as Phillips looks at a ball outside.
Well, Jeremy, you invited it into the booth. Whenever we talk about the weather, it can be a little dangerous. The baseball gods can hear you.
Aren't they having brunch right now or something? Strike one to Phillips. Curiel to follow, and then Tucker Rayburn. The second inning brought to you by Budweiser. We thank Budweiser for their partnership with the USPBL. Here's the 1-1. Slider away. Banks has looked kind of flustered a couple times after releases that he thought maybe were going to be a bit better, or pitches that he couldn't command/control. Despite that, he's only given up one base runner, none in that first. 2-1 chop to first. Odd play. Ada Burke still has a chance, and everybody's safe. I think if Burke did that all over again, he might not have given up. I think he might have thought it went further away from him.
Yeah, that's always tough on plays like that, but you have to make sure if there's a bobble of some sort or taking a quick hop, you have to get ready in order to try and make that play there. Because as we've seen in the past, the Unicorns can be lethal when they get on base, and we have two runners on.
And as I kind of look at it a second time, I'm not sure that he necessarily gave up. It was just that he was searching for the ball, and he located it a bit late over his right shoulder. So a single and an error to begin the second inning as Curiel looks at strike one. He led off yesterday, rocking those sweet shades here today.
And the number 14, good number.
0-1, swing and a miss.
I was telling Jason last night on the broadcast, I loved Austin Jackson growing up, so.
You know who wore it before him?
No, who wore it
Or
before
at least it was in the limelight? Placido Polanco.
Oh.
He's one of my favorite guys, too, on the 2006 team and beyond, but a big member of that team and a guy who had a really nice airless streak going on at one point. Lined right to him. Wow. Feeding it for a double play easily. De La Cruz to Castellano. And just like that, there's two outs with the runner on first.
Yeah, solid contact by Curiel, but right to someone. It's always a little tricky when you're on second. You don't want to get too big of a jump in those instances, but it wasn't able to fall through the infield.
It looked like Childress froze, but he was still a couple steps off the bag, and look out there as Phillips goes in standing up. But the play was so close to the second base bag, and De La Cruz was positioned right there because the runner was on second base. There was just no time to react for Childress in the end if he was going to take any kind of secondary lead. Strike one to Tucker Rayburn here. Hitting seventh for the Unicorns today. Rayburn, Hodo, Lambert at the bottom of Jim Essian's lineup. Now the 0-1. Strike two, fastball at 89.
Most are still trying to get a sense of what Rayburn can provide here in the USPBL, only coming in with 19 at-bats to today's contest. But so far, so good. 5 hits.
Big pitch here for Banks. Would love to get out of it right here. The slider fades away. 1-2 on Rayburn. So we saw a heavy curveball in that first inning. The first two pitches he threw to Drew Galassi were curveball. A little bit more slider here in the second. Phillips is a guy who has some wheels, but I doubt he's going to run into the third out after what has already happened here in the second. And I take that back. He's going to run as this one is lifted down the left field line. De Los Santos ranging as it drops. says it feels like 94 with a wind of 4 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Heat index of 6 out of 10. I don't really know what that means, but I assume that means it's even hotter.
Heat or UV?
UV. Swing and a miss as Rayburn cuts but through that one in the end. The second K for Pierce Banks. And he's able to scramble what was 2 base runners here in the second, but a big-time double play turned De La Cruz to Castellano for the first 2 outs.
They call me Prospects. Since the day I was born as a diver's watch, the challengers of the world have taught me many things. Life is not a numbers game. It's about challenging ourselves. No matter what happens, just follow your heart. These pioneers drive our generation forward. Not by setting records, but by never giving up. Keep going forward. Prospects.
Available at Lucido Fine Jewelry.
I enjoy renovating my home, so getting materials with my Chevy Silverado is a daily trip. But as the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever, it's perfect for all my projects. And with the most functional bed of any pickup, plus the power-up down tailgate, my Silverado helps me with everything I need. Of course, a little assist from a friend doesn't hurt.
Lease a 2021 Silverado Custom Crew Cab for just $199 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
Welcome back into the USPBL Network. A look at the starter for the Unicorns, Zach Jones, emerging for his second inning of work. Well, Jones grew up playing baseball and basketball. Those were his 2 favorite sports. His mom used to throw him wiffle balls when he was a kid, and it ultimately led to him picking baseball as a sport he wanted to take into college. The journey led him to the Citadel, where he wrapped up his college career this past spring. Zach actually wasn't a huge fan of his senior season at the Citadel, so after the season concluded, he said he was in a spot of looking for a place to play, was in the middle of working on his own in a program called Tread, which is a pitching development company that builds custom training and throwing plans to help increase pitchers' velocity and performance. And at that point, he received an email telling him about a tryout that was taking place here at the USPBL back in June. Zach said, why not? Ended up being one of 6 players selected out of that tryout, and he has now emerged into a spot where he enters today with the lowest ERA on the Unicorns pitching staff at 1.89 and really beginning to find his groove. But I have a question for you guys, Jeremy and Jenna. You know, Zach said that his favorite pregame meal for a 1 p.m. start at least is peanut butter toast with honey. So what are you guys' favorite 1 p.m. game start breakfasts?
Well, what is yours? You can't slip away like that.
Well. I'd say when I do have time to eat breakfast for the 1 p.m. starts, maybe an omelet.
Okay.
I'll go omelet, yeah.
No, I like that. Omelet is my go-to when I go out to breakfast. I did eggs today, I guess. Eggs and cheese, as this one is down the third base line foul. I am a huge fan of peanut butter as well. Peanut butter chocolate, peanut butter and jelly. I even put peanut butter on, like the toaster waffles. I put peanut butter on those sometimes, which I think is kind of weird, but.
No, those are good.
And I actually did like a little peanut butter and jelly sandwich with 2 waffles put together. That's even weirder. So that's what I did. Jason says it sounds good. Okay.
It does sound good. You're good. Yeah. I normally drink an iced coffee. Does that count as breakfast?
No, it does not.
No, even if it's pumpkin?
This one popped up down the first base line. Luska and Rayburn efforting, but that is well out of play.
What I want to start doing, though, I went to one of my good friend's bridal showers not too long ago, and it was really cute. She loves tea, so it was like a make-your-own tea. So they had the tea bags, and then you'd put all the different
like
fixins. Yeah. But it was fun because you could put, like, lavender and different stuff, so I think that'd be, like, a really good way to start the day,
Sure. 0-2 on Aberrett here. Chops it to Lambert. Bobbled, and he won't get him. Doesn't matter where Aberrett hits it, how hard he hits it, he's getting on base these days.
Yeah, well, Aberrett is certainly a threat whenever he steps into the box there, and that's a tough position to man over on the hot corner. Bit of difficulty there on the hop, but in games as of late, it's been a little harder for Lambert to get the ball down to first, so even after that recovery, it was nice to see it fall into the glove of Luxka.
First pitch outside to Greg Vaughn Jr. Greg, the left fielder again today, checking in at 253 in the average column. 6 extra base hits to his credit thus far. Jones from the stretch for the first time. Pounds the fastball in for strike one. It's 88, but it plays up a bit. It's topped out at 90 so far here today. 94 on the year. That's gradually kind of went down on average just because he's been starting more games. So not airing it out all throughout, really. Talked to Adrian Cook about that fact the other day, because he's a guy that can throw up 95, 96 in bullpen appearances, but kind of wheeled himself back to 91, 92 a bit more. Floating in. Oh, that sunk quick on Johnson. And just like the Unicorns in the top of the first, the Hoppers put runners on first and second to begin things here.
Johnson can read the ball off the bat very well, sets him up to be in a position to throw in pretty quickly. But, you know, I had the opportunity to chat with Greg Vaughn Jr.'s stepfather after the home run derby where he notched 27 home runs. And his dad said for that contest, it really came down to who was the best in shape. And even though Greg Vaughn Jr. came in with only 1 home run during gameplay, he's someone that is starting to find that power consistently during games. Has added 3 more since then.
Joe Burke definitely has some pop as well. Pair of doubles and a home run in 28 at-bats thus far.
Stellar college career as well. Holds the record for most home runs in the season.
.10, fastball in at 87 for strike one. Has shown some decent discipline as well. 5 walks to 7 Ks. Jones will look him back to second there.
Like you said, Jeremy, Burke definitely has the pop in his bat. I'm always interested to see the adjustment from the college level to pro when it comes to the differences in velocities, but so far so good on behalf of Burke.
Holds an extra beat, the 1-1, chiseled to Hodo, bobbles, everybody's gonna be not safe. It's an out at first. Aberrett moves to third, Vaughn Jr. to second, which could have been a look at a double play. Would have been needed to be a quick turn.
Bit of a rare mishap for Hodo, but you can see there he stays through the play, stays with it. He's able to get Burke out at first.
So there's the first out. Now with 2 runners in scoring position for Will Cruschena. So after the first 2 runners reached for the Hoppers, we saw that double play, or the Unicorns, I should say, double play into the hands of De La Cruz at short, fed it to Castellano, back picking the runner at second. It's a bit different now as both runners have moved up. The 1-0, swing and a miss, dancing changeup there it looked like.
A single by Cruschena could bring both in. We've seen that he really does generate power with his lower half, with a solid swing. Really sends lasers out to left field, has a lot of pull side pop.
The even delivery, fastball remains high. Brandon Krenrich, the other arm that Jim Essien is hopeful to get in here today in this first game. A reminder, they do have that other game to finish up afterwards. Hefty slider there, mixing it away. Two and two on Cruschena now. Broken bat. And Jones can't get it on a dive. Wow! Still gets up and throws it on a roll.
Man, what an accurate throw and great effort on Jones' part there.
Well, it's not often you see a pitcher try to dive for a baseball these days. But it's more impressive that he was able to stay with that play, tumble on his bottom, and chuck it over to first base accurately, albeit.
Especially with the runner still on base.
Aberrett will score, so it's 1-0 Hoppers, and Greg Vaughn Jr. moves up to third. Well, that's a huge second out, trying to strand that other runner on third base. First pitch changeup away, 1-0.
And good work on Jones' part to keep Krishna from sending it to the outfield.
Fastball in on the hands, 2-0 on De Los Santos. And you see so many pitchers, whether it's in front of them or they have to go to their left and right, they'll just airmail the throw to first or to second or wherever it needs to go. For whatever reason, they can be pinpoint accurate when it comes to the strike zone and coming home, but as soon as they have to move off the mound, they find or they lose the target over at first. But Jones, not one of them here in the second. Slider high, 3-1 on De Los Santos now. Playing third base today. Would love RBI number 11 on the year for him, standing at third base. Well hit to center field, carrying Galassi. He is not going to get it. Reaches over his head as it takes a high bounce over the wall in right center field. And just like that, De Los Santos will cruise in with a ground rule double.
De Los Santos getting the job done. You can see there he kept his head on the ball and sends it deep into center. Galassi turning and running, trying to get it.
I'll be honest, that one carried a lot more than I thought it would. He hit it hard, clearly, just by the sound off the bat, but I thought it might just fly right into the hands of Galassi, but not so.
No, and he has speed out there too, which I feel says something.
First pitch slider high. De La Cruz, the bottom of the order again here today. $127 in the average column for him. The 1-0. Fastball in. So this is a bit more of a prolonged inning for Jones as he runs his pitch count to 32. 1-2-3 frame in the first, just 10 bullets thrown to the plate. 6 batters here in the second, though. There's strike one. Started with the leadoff air to Lambert at third, then the single by Greg Vaughn Jr. Fielder's choice by Burke moved him up to second and third. A wild ground out by Krishna drove in the first run, and then the double by De Los Santos to make the score 2-0. So 2 runs off 2 hits and 1 error for the Diamond Hoppers. No runs off 1 hit and an error for the Unicorns. They shift De La Cruz into the gap in left center field. This one poked the opposite way, and it floats right into the glove of Colby Johnson as he records out number 3 here. 2 runs do come around to score unearned here for Zach Jones.
I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. I'm all out of love for my old insurance. Switch to insurance. They're saving me so much. They covered my car and bundled with my home. I feel so secure to say I love insurance.
Hello, AAA Insurance.
Goodbye, insurance. Hello.
Insurance.
Get a quote and save up to 20%.
We joined Green Path and instantly felt a support around us.
They developed a plan on paper, and this is how we're going to do it.
The plan that they gave me was something that was sustainable. It was something I could do. It was actually lowering my payments monthly by hundreds of dollars.
Choosing Green Path is a no-brainer.
Welcome back to the USPBL Network. Jenna Rose alongside Jeremy Otto, Jason Ross Jr., the third member of our team. Pierce Banks has been pretty efficient so far here today at Jimmy John's. Took him 10 to get through the first. Pitch count now sitting at 24 as he gears up for the third inning. Talked about what we can see in his arsenal prior. Definitely has plenty to play with. Four-seam, two-seam, slider, curve, change. He's going up against one of the more potent offenses here in the USPBL. It'll be John Hodo, Kevin Lambert, then Frankie Luxka, top of the order.
Just a single and an error in that second inning for Pierce Banks. Never fails to kind of make you laugh, but we weren't here for it on the broadcast, but you know, usually early on in the game, they'll put up a picture of somebody's car. Here's the 0-1 pitch, chopped, foul, just foul down the third base line. And it'll be on the big board, and you know, who's ever doing PA that day will, you know, kind of spell out the license plate and then say, oh, you need to wash your car. And everybody's like, ha, ha, ha. Everybody, you know, is looking, is that my car? What's going to happen to that car? Is it going to get towed?
Was it your car?
No.
Oh.
But I went to the bathroom, so I was kind of able to observe outside of the press box for the first time in a while as this one's popped foul.
Well, I'm really hoping they pick my car one of these days.
Yeah. Jack's Car Wash, one of the sponsors of the USPBL as well. Bringing that to the fans and that free car wash. Crucena plays in and right as Hodo. Look out here, the speed, and I think De La Cruz was feeling that on his way in.
De La Cruz trying to feel it off the side on the hop. Looked as though he just pulled his mitt a little bit before the ball was in there to try and make the throw. That's why it's always important to finish the catch, get the ball before you throw down to first.
They're going to rule that an infield hit. Second hit of the day for the Hoppers. Childress and Phillips reaching in that second before the double play. And the strikeout to Tucker Rayburn, 2 thus far for Pierce Banks. I think the goal again for Pierce here today is at least get to 4, then see how you feel, see where your pitch count is. If he's around where he was at the end of the outing last time, 69, probably think about taking him out, but he's only 27 deep right now. If he can get another double play here in the third, could go a long way. And the one thing about these Hoppers is they played a lot of games this week, both in the public eye and not. I mean, they finished those 2 on Tuesday. 3 more, including here today, and another one to finish after this. The 0-2, swing and a miss. Fastball at 88. There's strikeout number 3.
Got ahead in the count early on Lambert, and Lambert is still trying to bounce back from last night. Struck out 3 times, one of them looking. Ended up being 0 for 4 on the contest, but was able to get the ball in play towards the latter stages of the game.
Now Frankie Luxka will rise back to the plate, had a 4-3 ground out to begin the game in the first. Fastball low and in.
Well, Luska is definitely someone that you want in the box with a runner on when you're down by 2. He could be the one to give the Unicorns a spark.
Ooh, big cut. And a slider near the dirt there, 1-1. So again, 2-seam, 4-seam, knuckle curve, slider, changeup. That changeup is used very sparingly so far this year for Banks, just 5% of the time. He's been successful on it, though. 0 for 5 are hitters when he throws it, including 3 Ks. And now we're in that threshold of the second time around, but the averages really don't improve against Banks. Here's the 1-1. Looped foul. Actually, I take that back. The averages won't improve against Jones. There is a subtle hike for Pierce, but that's normal. I mean, you look at most guys, hitters are going to be better the second, third, fourth times around. Modest lead for Hodo. Let's see if he tries to push the envelope here. We will not at this pitch as Luska looks at one high.
You know, one of the big swings that Luska took before reminded me of the bats that have the axe handles. Have you ever seen those?
Yes.
I don't know why, but I forgot that became a thing not too long ago. Seems fun, though. I wish I had tried swinging with one of those.
2-2, looped into right field. Hodo had to shorten up, and Crushena is pretty shallow, so all those factors, he'll stay at second base.
Nice work there by Luxka in the box. Bit of an interesting at-bat that he had previously in the first inning. Not someone that you really see get 2 strikes on them and not be able to work their way back, but he's able to make his way down to first. Nice line drive to right center.
So Colby Johnson makes his way back to the plate. He also had a ground out in the first. First pitch slider in. We've seen a lot more slider as this outing has gone on. That one with some big time spin on it as well. His breaking pitches are right up there, some of the better ones metrically here in the USPBL. 0-1 finds the corner for strike 2. Has he had that orange glove all year long?
You know, that looks pretty new to me.
I mean, maybe it's just extra popping out just because it's so sunny, but that's stylish. Matching the side of the uniform there.
It is.
Here's the 0-2. Kept it low.
What color's your mitt, Jeremy?
Just a tan.
Just a tan?
Yep. Boring color.
It's classic.
Almost brownish, I guess. That was a changeup in the dirt after we just talked about him not throwing it much. Couldn't locate it that time. Here's the 1-2. Away. 2-2 on Johnson. He was ahead 2-0 in the first. How about you? Is yours black? Is that right?
I was gonna make a joke and be like, yeah, don't ask me what color my mitt is. Yeah, it's black. Got some blue in there too.
You got an 82000, is that right?
I do, yeah. Wow, you have a good memory.
Here's the 2-2. Chopped to De La Cruz. Ooh, bobbled and everybody's safe.
Yeah, Johnson able to get his hands up high in the zone to bring in that hard chopper. Base is loaded now. But, yeah, Jeremy, it was a bit goofy because, you know, we talked about this entering the broadcast. I've been, you know, a center fielder all my life. Then going into high school ball, I got moved to shortstop, so I was playing with an Audis mitt.
Yep.
But just never wanted to make that switch.
how drastically different are the sizes in softball? Obviously, because for baseball, it is drastic because the ball is a bit smaller and you have an outfield mitt, and you're looking to get the ball out a lot quicker, obviously, in the infield as Galassi takes a swing and a miss.
Yeah, it's definitely different transitioning to that infield spot. Like you said, getting the ball out quicker. It almost feel like a bit heavy. It was, I don't know, it was different. But I felt like it was hard for me to catch the ball when I tried on someone else's glove.
0-1 rope to first, blocked down by Burke. A run will score as they trade it for the out here, and the lead is cut in half.
Unicorns getting on the board earlier than they did last night. Johnson was the one to spark it in the fourth. They put 3 runs on the board to take the 2-run lead. And Childress has been very consistent, putting the ball in play. Hard line drives, able to do so already today.
Yeah, another good at bat in that second inning. Got down in the count 0-2 after a couple breaking balls, I believe, in a row, the knuckle curve. And there it is again. And I believe it was the fastball that he was able to yank into the outfield after a 1-2 count commenced on him. Corner infielders hugging the lines here. The left fielder, Vaughn Jr., playing Childress a bit shallow. Checks his swing on a slider in the dirt there, 1-1. So Luska on third after the 1-out single here in the third, and Colby Johnson on second after the error to De La Cruz. Banks again looking to weave out of the inning here. Hefty swing, but chucked foul. Isaac Phillips, your Zach Hart agency man on deck. They've quietly sent 6 to the plate here in the third inning. Both of these pitchers worked a 1-2-3 inning in the first, but since we've seen a bit more traffic on the base pass. 5 combined hits, 3 combined errors thus far as well. And a walk here or there, spiked. Looking to score it, and out at the plate is Frankie Luska. Literally right on top of the plate as well was the umpire as he made that call. His eyeballs nearly getting some dirt, I'm sure, from Luska coming in. Let's get a second look at it before we head to break here. Tough pitch to handle for Horner. Good job by Banks to potentially come and cover, but Luska tagged out at the plate despite a little bit of frustration there. That's your Fifth Third out of the game, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank here today. Also time for JJ the Water Boy, presented by Michigan First Credit Union. Gives the water to the base pass umpire again here. Gary Wagon shuts down there behind second base. And now time for your DTE Energy Kid Race. The mascot, it's Ribby against Emma here today. It's got to be a hot day to be in that costume, I tell you what.
So, Jeremy, I'll bet that Emma gets the win here today.
You think so?
Yeah, how much you want to put down on that?
Nothing. Ribby missed the second base bag, but he's on his way to third already here.
Dang, good form by Emma.
Now he's looking at Emma here, and that's going to mess him up. Ribby is going to lose your DTE Energy Kid Race, the mascot. Emma didn't touch home plate, but that's all right. I think looking for a mom or dad. They're all the way down the first base line there. Zach Jones out for his third inning of work here. He'll face Ben McConnell, Colton Horner, and Pedro Castellano. It was a lengthier second inning for Jones. He allowed the leadoff error to Abaret. Both him and Vaughn Jr. scored, driven in by the ground up by Crucena, and the double by De Los Santos, which was hit real hard to dead center field. The highlight of that inning, though, for Jones was his defensive work. Just a chopper to the right side that he tried to kind of fade and dive for over his right shoulder. Missed it, stayed with it, rolled on his backside and threw a dart. An accurate throw over to Lusk at first.
We've definitely seen some impressive plays here today. First
pitch to McConnell is low and in. 87-mile-an-hour fastball there. Lambert, as he was in the first at bat here, the cutout on the third base line. There is still no breeze here today. Wind has not been a factor this week pretty much, as Lambert, too, did have a chance at it, but it skims the netting. Was there any wind yesterday? I wasn't here, but...
No, it didn't feel too windy.
Nope.
I feel, honestly, the games that I've been to more recently, I've seen that flag out in center lay still.
There it is, the 1-1. Changeup in for strike 2.
Jones didn't start working on that changeup until his college days. Right now working on his curve, but not something you really see most of during his time on the mound.
Yeah, mostly the slider, and it's a good one. Hodel for the first out. This part of the order all 0 for 3, checking into their second at-bats as they went 1, 2, 3 in the first. Line out, fly out, line out. A couple hard hit balls, one at Luska to end the inning. The ball by De Los Santos, the hardest hit maybe in this game though. Stroke to center and carrying Drew Galassi. Horner sends it that way to right center. Johnson reads it right away for the second out.
Yeah, the outfield has been a little busy today, but look at Horner repping those dirt stains from that diving tag we saw earlier.
Maybe it has something to do with the humidity in the air, but I feel like every time the ball is low in the outfield, it just quickly smacks and fades down into the glove. It's not a lot of carry. That's why it was funny to see that ball go so far off the bat of De Los Santos. I mean, we knew he hit it hard, but it looked like at first it might kind of fade into the glove of Galassi. He was playing a shallower center as he usually does, but that wasn't the case. It carried him to the warning track, one hop over for the ground rule double. Change up by Castellano. He's down in the count 0-2. So maybe he was able to get it over the little humidity line.
Invisible barrier.
0-2, whiff and a miss. His best fastball today, 92 and by him for his first strikeout. Second 1-2-3 inning. Good follow-up to the second, where he gave up 2 runs.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, and everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. To your heart.
Milk, milk, milk. Yeah, guzzle milk, drink it all. Make a milk waterfall. Cookie milk, stack it tall. Milk with no rhythm at all. Make you run fast milk. Stay awake in class milk. Pour it by the glass milk. Is that a mustache milk? Boom, 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 base milk. Smile in your face milk. Go for the goal before you know you going all the way milk. Milky high, milky hay. I hope you have a milky day. Live your best life milk. You out this world, Milky Way. Put you on the spot milk. Question, got milk? Show us what you got. Hashtag got milk.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
To the fourth we go. Phillips, Curiel, and Rayburn. Your Zach Hart Agency 3 due up in this inning. Phillips reached on an error in the second. Curiel doubled Childress off with the liner to De La Cruz. It was hard hit, but right at Adam, who was close to the second base bag. And then the strikeout to Rayburn in that second inning where the majority of these batters hit. Banks a little bit more traffic in the third. He did allow the leadoff man to score. Just a ground out to first base that encapsulated the one run that they have scored so far.
That was John Hodo.
Floating fastball in for strike one. 0-1 is inside.
Talked about it earlier in the broadcast. Childress doesn't necessarily think of himself as a power hitter. He was brought into the home run derby earlier this season, 4 home runs to his name, but someone when he can really barrel up the ball can send it to any part of the field with power.
Slider. Both the curveball and the slider have looked pretty good here today for Banks. He struck out 3 through 3. 1 each inning. The 1-2. Childress continues, or actually Phillips, I beg your pardon, is going to lift that one into left. No, that was Childress.
You know, I was a little confused when the inning first started.
Wait a minute.
But yeah.
Childress should not have batted.
No, so.
All right. Oh, the last out was a tag at home plate. But that was not on a batted ball then. It was on a wild pitch, okay.
Yeah, Jeremy.
Oh, I wrote down fielder's choice, so I'm all confused here. But that makes sense. So Childress allowed to bat again, obviously here in the fourth. This is Phillips, I promise. Bobbled by De Los Santos, and the speed will allow him to reach and more. Childress didn't realize it right away, and it scoots out of play, so they'll get second and third to begin this fourth.
Man, we've seen some tough bobbles eat up some infielders today, Jeremy.
And De Los Santos may have been better served just holding onto that baseball with the speed that Phillips presented. Just a high bounding ball that he dropped and had to pick up again. Looks like Phillips was going to be well past the first base bag. And now Donovan Curiel trying to keep it going here. Unfortunate for him that a double play was turned behind him after he had hit it hard. Victim of the positioning at that point. Can Banks whittle out of another jam here? A lot of his pitches really after the first inning have been high leverage. He's at 54 now, so you might start to see some action fairly soon in that Hopper's pen. Just because they are watching him extra close. We talked about it before with the amount of innings he threw in college this year. Over 70. Right now it's quiet down there. Ferry, Burakonak, and Pierce are available. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Wipeout slider by Banks.
Curiel bouncing around the order a little bit here today. Was leading off last night for the Unicorns. Frankie Luxgun out in that spot.
There's the 2 runners to start this inning. Childress on third, Phillips on second. Single error. The 1-2. Fastball high. Had him leaning out of the way. And in fact, now there is some light throwing. It's Burakonak tossing for the Hoppers. He saw an inning on Friday. in relief of Verbrugge. Struck out a couple batters. 2-2 passed. And De La Cruz able to make the play, but the run will score. And just like that, we're tied at 2.
Nice fielding by De La Cruz. Throwing it on the run there. Now tied at 2 apiece here at Jimmy John's.
Tucker Rayburn will bat with the infield in now. Runs starting to feel at a premium all of a sudden. With Zach Jones having just one blemish of an inning thus far. Slider away from him as he whiffs and misses. Rayburn was the second strikeout victim for Banks in the second. Still only 1 out in the inning. High and away. Hasn't been able to locate the fastball as well as in the past, it seems, today, for whatever reason. His breaking stuff is where he's gotten a good amount of strikes so far tonight. The 1-1. Away, 2-1. That was a big pitch right there. Another yanking slider. Even the count at 2s. Burkonak throwing at full mound's length now. So I think probably the goal would be to get Banks through this 4th inning. And then maybe bring him out for the 5th in this 7-inning scheduled contest. The 2-2. Curveball high. 3-2 on Rayburn now.
Good eye by Rayburn. Just has to keep that swing short and put the ball in play. Only 1 out. A single could bring in Phillips.
Got him. Another slider. 2 of them in that at-bat looking very similar. And a huge strikeout number 4 for Banks here in the 4th.
Like you said, Jeremy, he's really been having to rely on those secondary pitches. Can't find that same command as we've seen in the past with his fastball.
Paul Nochi going to maybe buy some extra time and feel out how Banks is doing here at this point. 63 pitches deep through 69 in the last outing.
Hodo's readjusting his glove straps. Getting ready to step up to the plate. He's been very consistent as of late. Has the 2nd highest batting average here for the Utica Unicorns coming into the contest, hitting .261.
These infielders relax. Third baseman De Los Santos is the closest in. Outfield plays Hodo pretty shallow. That's off the glove. Here comes Phillips racing in and swimming in for the 3rd run here in the 4th inning.
Hodo diving to make sure he's out of the way there too. Nice work by the Unicorns to get up by 1.
Looking at the replay, Hodo diving down as he saw Horner kind of over his left shoulder at the last second there. Phillips plating a huge run. They're 2nd in the 4th. They're 3rd in the last 2 innings after Banks had only allowed a couple base runners through the first 2. All of this not really his struggles, though. He's not had the benefit of 3 errors behind him. 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd, and 1 here in the 4th. Phillips, the most recent, coming around to score. Here's the 2-1. Fastball away.
I'm sure that has to alleviate some pressure off of Hodo. Base is cleared, runs in.
way ahead in the count as well. This might be the last batter for Banks if he can't get him out. Verbrugge, who fields that ground ball, was down to check on Burakonak, who has stopped throwing, so he should be ready to go if need be. Could get up to 70 pitches in this at-bat here. Looking to pitch 4 complete for the second consecutive outing. Can he do it? We'll see. It's a speedy runner. De Los Santos just nips him over at first base. So despite the first 2 runners getting on, he retires the last 3. Curiel on the wild pitch, able to score both runs here. It's 3-2 Unicorns.
I'm all in with HR and Organizational Development Council.
I'm all in with Marketing and Business Development Council.
I'm all in with Operations and Member Experience Council.
I'm all in with CEO Council.
I'm all in with Lending Council.
I'm all in with CFO Council.
I'm all in with Technology Council.
Our credit union is all in with CUNA Councils.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $277 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Well, you could win $250 plus 4 front row tickets to the USPBL Championship game in September. Text Chevy Detroit to 555-888. Again, that's Chevy Detroit to 555-888. Visit ChevyDetroit.com/USPBL for all the official rules on that contest. Jones back out there here in the 4th. This stretch of batters is where he ran into his lone troubling inning. Otherwise, a 1-2-3 inning in the first and in the third. 6 batters came to the plate in the second, and it started with this very man. He led it off with an error, came around to score after the RBI ground out by Crucena. Vaughn Jr. after him got a single. He was plated by the ground rule double by De Los Santos in the second. And that is what made it 2-0 at that point. The Unicorns have struck back for 3 in the last 2. 1 in the third, 2 more in the top of this inning. That's why they lead it 3-2. 3 runs off 4 hits and 1 error. 2 runs off 2 hits and 3 errors. Hesitation, the 0-1. Fly ball, shallow center field. Galassi and Hodo trying to arch out on that one, but no luck.
Crucena's able to keep his weight back there, time up that pitch. Bit of a deceptive delivery there from Jones, keeping the leg up a little longer than normal. Almost a collision out there in the outfield.
And in general, he likes to hesitate a little bit, but I'm with you. That was longer than normal.
Which kudos to Crucena Abaret for capitalizing on. That would definitely throw off most batters' timing.
First pitch slider outside to Vaughn Jr. here, 1-0. Poked it over our heads and foul.
Jones is considered to be a very receptive pitcher. Says that if you're not coachable, you won't be able to learn. He's enjoyed the DVS system, coming in here to the USPBL in order to get better, refine his mechanics.
Hit hard to right. It's gonna, just get through the glove of Johnson all the way to the wall. Abaret around third base. He's heading home, and camping in at second is Vaughn Jr. Wow, that play not as routine as you might have thought. Rayburn with a late tag, but not too far away from Abaret there.
Abaret able to get his hand there on the plate. What a hit by Greg Vaughn Jr. Definitely hitting the part of the lineup that has plenty of pop here in Aberrett. Greg Vaughn Jr., Joseph Burke, part of this Hoppers team.
It's kind of that do-or-die play in right field. Johnson laying out. I feel like more than often he tries to use that athleticism and jolt in midair, but not able to get it, and that's one of those as well. It's hit so hard. Galassi hasn't even gotten to the point where he's behind you trying to back you up, so he got the baseball in the end, but he had to run a long way from his center field spot to the warning track.
Yeah, in most cases, as you said, Johnson is always displaying his athleticism. It seems like he's always not too far off in those instances.
So that's the 11th RBI of the year for Vaughn Jr. as the slider dips in for strike one. 1-1. Unlike Pierce, I think they'd probably like to get 5 or so out of Jones here today. .52 pitches to this point, and still no outs and a run already in here in the 4th. The 1-2. Change up foul. Jones has stretched it out more and more as the year has gone on. It's a guy who kind of had every role for the Citadel this year. A little bit of everything. By far his most pitches in his last start, though, 86 in a 7 1/3 inning outing. I think you could see him get around that mark again if he feels right. Fastball velocity continually rising as the game has gone on. That one at 91. We saw 92 in the last inning. Now the 2-2. Beautiful slider in for strike 3. Burke won't like the call. Maybe a little bit outside, but in the end, the second K tonight for Jones.
Jones looking to find the command that he had in the first. 3 up, 3 down. All contact outs, but able to keep his pitch count to 10.
So a strikeout of Castellano and a strikeout of Burke. That's it so far for Jones. A man who is coming into play today with 7 walks and 23 strikeouts on the year. Through about 33 innings of work.
Jones will now face Krishna, where he made that amazing tumbling play.
Yeah.
Accurate throw to first base.
We've seen a lot of oddities this year in a good way here in the USPBL. Things that just don't happen a lot. Obviously the no-hitter, the triple play, the ball that went off Tyler Blom's face over to McFarland.
I was going to ask if that was a good one. It seemed like a painful one, but.
Now the 1-0. Another good slider. Cutting through and away from Will Krushenna.
I don't ever think that I could have imagined a ball bouncing that far off of someone's forehead, Jeremy.
And not giving him a concussion or wooziness or anything like that.
Yeah, because McFarland was still pretty close to first base, making the catch.
And that's the thing. The training staff came out and they were kind of shocked. His manager was pretty surprised that there was no feeling of anything at that point.
Must have been the adrenaline rush.
Guess so. Runner moving to third. Krushenna took a big cut as well.
Just got it off the tip of his bat there. Krushenna really displays that pull side pop. When he gets a hold of it, he can laser it to left.
Greg Vaughn Jr. has stolen bases at a decent clip this year, 6 of 7. Has that sneaky speed. Athletic out there, certainly. The 2-2. High and in.
Krishna had one of the more memorable first home runs here in the USPBL. That was during the tornado day.
Yes.
Jeremy, that we were here. A happy memory we have from that experience.
Barrett and Krishna back-to-back, right? Home runs?
Yeah.
Or at least 2 in that inning. I think it was back-to-back, though.
That's what I thought, too. Yeah, that's the only part that we should remember about that day.
Good battle here. Finishes him off as he pops it up to center. If they can dig it out, that is Galassi. Calling off Curiel for out number 2.
Nice work by Galassi in center. Seems as though the fly balls have been a little tricky today. As you kind of said before, Jeremy, they're either kind of falling off. One was randomly carrying off the bat of, I believe, De Los Santos.
These billowy clouds still sticking around. They're really right over the ballpark. There's a little half circle of gap, maybe kind of falling over the pitcher's mound here. But other than that, clouds all around. The sun has gone away a little bit more. There's a look. First pitch slider inside, 1-0 on De Los Santos. He's got one of the hardest hit balls of this game thus far to center field, the ground rule double. It's a big batter, though, for Jones, especially if he's going to stick around past the 5th inning. Still no action in that Unicorn's pen. Lazy fly ball hanging up and right. Johnson, more routine for him here. And another leadoff base runner comes around to score. That seems to be the trend in this game. Barrett makes the game a bit tighter again, 3-3.
We're the financial champion of Michiganders. Whether you're a goal-getter or dream chaser, an empty nester, or up-and-comer, anyone in Michigan can bank with us. Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union.
Piloting a hot air balloon is my wife's passion, and she couldn't have a better wingman than my Chevy Equinox. Its stylish design rises above the rest, and with its 4G LTE Wi-Fi plus great gas mileage, Equinox keeps us connected mile after mile. With my Equinox, the sky isn't the limit.
Lease a 2021 Equinox LT for just $277 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City. Visit ChevyDetroit.com.
Welcome back into the USPBL network. Utica Unicorns lineup due back up. One of the key cogs in that lineup over the past couple of games has been DH Noah Childress, who now has 5 singles in his last 6 at-bats. Told me earlier this year that there's no feeling quite like hitting a baseball, and that's exactly what he's doing pretty often right now. Played football, basketball, and baseball growing up. Said there weren't really any other baseball players in his family. He described it as just a challenge that he fell in love with. And coaches early on felt he had very quick hands. Told me earlier this season as well that he's associated with the power, 4 home runs this year, but that's not necessarily what he's aiming for. It's just the hard line drive contact that we've seen so far today. And that mindset is paying off for him right now. Really finding a groove, guys.
Good stuff. Well, when it's time for baseball, it's time for bells. We love enjoying a United Shore game with an Oberon, Two-Hearted Ale, or no, yeah. Here's to a great season. Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Please drink responsibly. Lambert looks at a pitch outside. He struck out back in the 3rd. Lambert, Luska, Johnson, your Zach Hart agency. 3 men due up here in the 5th. Popped him up. Castellano calls for it. 1 up and 1 down. two men reached in a row in the fourth inning for the Unicorns. They both scored. They've scored 3 runs in the last 2. The Hoppers answering for their first run in a little bit to tie up this game. They scored 2 in the second. Frankie Luska trying to get this Unicorns lineup going again against a new pitcher as well, Burakonak, into the ball game.
During Burkonak's last outing, he struck out 2 and gave up a single, and that was on Friday. Typically see the utilization of his four-seam, curve, and change.
Yeah, fastball, the velocity range has been pretty tight, 86 to 89 thus far. 1-1 slide or curveball in for strike 2.
Luxka grounded out. First at bat. Had a nice line drive to right field. Was stranded at third.
Been interesting to see if it wasn't for the errors, what Banks' final line would have been here today. He gives up 3 runs, 2 of them unearned. 3 errors in total behind him. He did have a 1-2-3 inning in the first, so not totally indicative of what he was able to do. Only the 3rd time that Burakonak has pitched here in the USPBL. He now has 5 strikeouts. Still without walking a batter.
Big swing and miss there from Johnson, following the momentum, heading towards first.
Good shot to left center field, carrying Vaughn Jr. back and gone! Wow, just sneaking over the wall and hitting that screen in front of the scoreboard out there. Big time shot by Colby Johnson here. Breaks up what could have been a 1-2-3 inning.
Johnson not only displays that dominance defensively, but also offensively. You can see there he could really time up the ball well and generate that power with his lower half, taking good cuts and sending it over the fence. Well, just tipping the fence there.
358 feet. And now Drew Galassi comes up, having driven in a run in his last at-bat. Those are the first runs that Burakonak has surrendered so far here in the USPBL. Curveball in for strike 1. Will comes from the Pecos League, where he played for Monterey here in 2021. And what is a very quick inning, but in the end he does give up the lead, or the tie, I should say, 4-3. Colby Johnson with a nice line drive fly to left center field, snatching the lead back for the Unicorns. You take the lead, I take the lead. That's what it's been here recently. Time for your Genesis Credit Union 5th inning stretch here today, and take me out to the ball game once again in 3, 2, 1. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Genesis Credit Union here today. Back with more after this on the USPBL Network.
There's nothing better than a ball game at Jimmy John's Field and a cold beer from Midland Brewing Company. Hi, I'm Kyle, the head brewer at Midland Brewing Company, here to wish you a stellar time making memories at Jimmy John's Field. And we hope that you're living it up with a Copper Harbor Ale in your cup. You can find more of our selections here at the ballpark and around town at your favorite bottle shops too. We hope you have a ball at the game, and remember, enjoy responsibly. Let's play ball.
Every summer, my family loves to have a neighborhood movie night in our backyard.
And with my Chevy Blazer, I can head out and get everything we need for a great night. It has plenty of room for picking up friends and a cargo management system that keeps all our supplies in place. You know, it may be movie night, but my Blazer is the main attraction, wherever I go.
Lease a 2021 Blazer 2 LT for just $295 a month. Put it in D and see why Chevy drives the Motor City.
De La Cruz, McConnell, and Horner, your Zach Hart agency, 3 men due up here in the 5th. Hit hard, but right to Curiel. Not often that he's not going to make that play. Oh, they say that Luska juggled the baseball over at first. And it allows De La Cruz to reach to begin this game, so that error likely going to go against Curiel, who drilled it into the ground.
That was a nice play off the hop by Curiel. I've never seen an umpire move that fast with that movement, Jeremy.
A robot over there, yeah.
Yeah.
McConnell takes a big cut and ropes it back to the screen. He's been pretty good this week. When he gets on, good candidate for a steal always. He's got 10 stolen bases in 11 attempts thus far.
Still looking to get on base during this contest. 0 for 2.
Pickoff move over to first as De La Cruz is back in. Fastball line foul.
He's been productive in the leadoff spot prior to the absence of Juan Lopez Rios, who is available but not in the lineup today.
309 average coming into play here today. There was one point where that average dipped down to around 260, which was a surprise because he started out hitting very well, but he's done a great job to work his way back to that in the last 2-3 weeks. Does strike out for the first down here in the 5th. K number 3 for Jones. Been more the contact outs so far for Zach, the way he's lived. He has drawn a good amount of ground balls coming into today, 47%. And we mentioned this before, and this is now the 3rd time around, and he hasn't seen a lot of at-bats to this point because he, started the year in the bullpen and really didn't stretch past 50 pitches before his last start. We'll do that more today, but anyway, average to the order the first time, 171. It gets better the second time around, 114, and through 8 at-bats, and now 10 here for Horner. Hitters are 0 for 9 the 3rd time through. Ready on righty here, trying to continue that trend. Time call. 5th inning, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. We thank Fifth Third Bank for their partnership here with the USPBL. Now the 0-1. Lunged. That's going to loop its way foul with a lot of room to run for everybody. Johnson and Luska took a stab at it.
Horner sending the ball consistently to right field today.
Fly out, line out in that direction. Colby Johnson has been pretty busy. Over and right. The 0-2 again. Pokes it that same direction. Hodo to second in time. Hodo first. Margins thin, but able to turn it in time. 4-6-3. Big time double play for Zach Jones as well. He might just see the 6th inning. 4-3, Unicorns the lead.
First State Bank is a locally owned and operated business. We're part of your community. At fsbcares.com, you'll find ways that we're making a difference by featuring locally owned and operated businesses, providing access to helpful financial resources, and engaging with community. fsbcares.com is part of our commitment to the neighborhood because strong neighbors mean stronger communities. Where good neighbors do great things. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Ascension Michigan Sports Medicine, we're here to treat any athlete, any injury that you might have, whether that's at the high school, the college level, or the professional level, or whether that's you just want to stay active and keep fit. And we do that through a whole journey. And you're going to see us for diagnosis with imaging. We can also do some physical therapy, which we have all of that. And we can do all the way up to the OR if you need surgery and getting you recovered as well. There's no reason to delay your care. You can get in to see us just as easily as you can see a primary care doctor. And when you do come to see us, we have all the precautions in place to keep you safe.
Big time double play turned there by Zach Jones at the end of the 5th. It was really tight over at first. It rewounded probably 3-4 times, but it looked like the throw just beat the front toe of Colton Horner. In the end, though, Jones faces the minimum there in the 3rd. Burikonak works his 2nd inning, gave up a solo shot with 2 outs in the 5th to Colby Johnson, and that one was well hit, certainly to left center. So the Unicorns will look to pad this lead now as we head to the 6th. 7-inning scheduled game here today, a first pitch of 1:06 Eastern time. Strike 1 to Childress, 2 solid at bats for him. He's hit it hard both times.
As someone who carried over that confidence from his, if I can get the words out, from his college days, the USPBL.
De Los Santos, good even hop for him. First out here in the 6th inning, still 89 degrees. The real feel 97. And it says air quality poor. It's one of those days.
Oh, it is one of those days.
Wind gust of only 4 miles an hour. It also gives you a real feel in the shade. You know what that is? 91. So that's not much better.
No.
Very humid, though, around 60% to start the game here today. Hot and humidity has been around really the last 2 weeks here in the area as Phillips looks at strike 2. Silent protest for him. Isaac reached on an error to the third baseman De Los Santos to begin the 4th. He scored along with Childress. And the solo shot was able to get them the lead in the end.
Yeah, Phillips' bat movement is pretty interesting when he steps up to the plate, how he kind of works it back into the zone as he's getting into his rhythm and timing.
Chokes up on the bat majorly here with 2 strikes. Curveball away. 1-2.
I'd always kind of think that excessive movement would make it harder for him to get on the ball, but he's still able to get it in play.
There's the curve. The last pitch was actually the change as Phillips steers ball 2 into the glove. Couldn't hold up. Probably strike 3 anyway for the 2nd out quickly here in the 6th. So looking very similar to what we saw in the 5th. And at this point, the home run was hit. Curiel not the most likely home run candidate here, but regardless, Burkonak looking to hold this game right where it is. There's still no action in either bullpen. So it looks like Jones is coming out for the bottom of the 6th inning. Burkonak works really quickly as he delivers that ball, catches it, and is ready for the next one. Little pop fly. Castellano and Crushena. It's Crushena who sees it fade into the glove. And a 1-2-3 breeze of an inning for Burkonak. He's pitched 2 complete thus far.
Roads, bridges, wind farms and pipelines, schools to skyscrapers, our members create monuments. We operate. We're the operators and mechanics behind the advanced heavy machines that move Michigan forward. We maintain boilers and HVAC. Our members run the complex heating and cooling systems that we all depend on. Our training is second to none, and safety is our priority. We are Operating Engineers 324, and we keep Michigan running.
Check your checking. If your account doesn't get you pumped, amped, or geeked, make the switch to Genius Checking from Genesis Credit Union. It's just genius.
Zach Jones coming on to pitch the 6th inning after a minimum inning in the 5th. Leadoff error allowed De La Cruz to reach, then the strikeout to McConnell, and a 4-6-3 quickly turned double play. Hodo Curiel to Luska.
Jones throwing 75 pitches through 5 innings. Gearing up here for the bottom of the 6th.
A lot going on at the ballpark before the playoffs commence here. Summer Movie Night, another addition to that on Wednesday before we have games. Beauty and the Beast sing-along. You can pick up tickets at uspbl.com. $5 general admission seats, which is either on the outfield grass or in the grandstands. The gates open at 7 with the movie starting at 8. Also, Thursday is Mardi Gras night. You see these unicorn jerseys? They're very colorful. The beads on the sleeves will be up for auction again, like the other kind of different / theme night jerseys that have been used so far this year. Each team has had at least one.
Yeah,
Wolverine Human Services will get a part of those proceeds. Yes. Here's the 0-1. Right to Lambert for the first out.
A little late on that swing there, but easy line out for Lambert.
Can also get all-you-can-eat nachos on Thursday night, $15 in the Craft Beer Garden, as well as $2 Bud Lights and $5 craft beers.
Ooh, all-you-can-eat nachos. You know where I'm going during commercial break that day.
We'll see if she makes it through the game. This one is a swing and a miss by Alvarette. He raced on an error back in the 2nd, came around to score. Single in the 4th as well. He was driven in by Greg Vaughn Jr. Hard hit past Colby Johnson on a dive. Still bringing that beautiful slider, cutting off the table for strike 2. So Friday fireworks, of course, next week as well. Then Pink Out the Park on Saturday, along with 80s Night featuring the American Ages Band. And then Sunday, next Sunday, a week from today, Turtle Ninja Day, presented by Fairy Tale Entertainment.
Barrett trying to stay alive here in the box. Definitely one of the powerful bats that you think of when you look at this Diamond Hoppers lineup.
He's quietly tied himself with Drew Galassi for the home run lead. Drew obviously has not hit one in a long time, but he jumped out to such a good start with the bat. 2-2 to Hodo. 2 up and 2 down. And boy, Zach Jones may be bidding for a possible complete game. His pitch count is up to 83, so not really sure how much longer they would want to push it.
Good work by Jones to retire the threat, and Aberette. Weak grounder to Hodo.
Greg Vaughn Jr. has reached twice today as well. These two back-to-back, Vaughn Jr. and Aberette, the only two to reach more than once in this Hoppers lineup here today. It's 4 runs off 5 hits and 2 errors for the Unicorns. 3 runs off 4 hits and 2 errors, or make that 3 for the Diamond Hoppers thus far. Slider outside 2-0. Fly ball towering to left center field, carrying Galassi back. Edge of the warning track at the base of the scoreboard for out number 3. So it doesn't come without some excitement, but it's another 1-2-3 inning for Jones. The 4th time in 6 innings that he's faced the minimum in this game.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic? You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Attention, Michigan, there is absolutely no need to drive all over town searching for new flooring. When the Carpet Guys will come to your house on your schedule, we'll bring our store to your door so you can shop in the comfort and privacy of your own home. And you'll love our huge selection. Buy right now with interest-free financing for up to 4 years. You can carpet your entire home for as little as $11.99 per month. Let the Carpet Guys take the stress out of buying new flooring. Call for a free in-house shopping experience today.
Be wise, call the Carpet Guys at 855 for my guys.
Into the 7th inning of this matchup between Utica and Eastside. A big matchup in the USPBL today, and a big final inning here, given that Eastside is pulled within 2 games of Utica entering today. Unicorns are fresh off a 2nd consecutive loss. First time we've said that so far through 32 games this season. Meanwhile, Eastside is on a season-best 5-game winning streak. So the guys, this final inning feels like a big one when you consider the potential standings down the stretch in the East Division in particular. But it's been a fun one today, and send it back to Jeremy and Jenna.
Thanks, Jason. Certainly is. This Unicorns team has been at the top of the standings. I mean, a lot of that is the credit to the work they did early on. We've seen lately some teams starting to shut their offensive game down a bit longer. But in the end, this is a 4-3 score in favor of the Unicorns here in the 6th, and this news is so fresh, the video hasn't even circulated quite yet, but Miguel Cabrera has hit number 500
Yes!
on the road.
I was just saying in the commercial break, Caputo was saying that it was going to happen today. Had a couple of Tigers fans calling in saying they were at the game. They were parked out in left field, so I wonder which way he went. What do you think?
I'm going to guess left.
I'm so happy.
And I'm wrong. It's right center.
Really? Okay.
Which isn't incredibly shallow in Toronto. We're talking 380-ish to right center there. Steven Matz, the pitcher for the Blue Jays. So the off-speed hangs high to Tucker Rayburn. Burkonek out for his 3rd inning of work, the most we've seen just 2 one-inning outings thus far. Fly ball to left. Vaughn Jr. is there for the first out. And now that's 4, or make it 5 straight outs against Burr-Konak.
Next up, the second baseman, number 2, John Hodo.
So now the march to 3,000 hits.
I was going to say, mentally, I'm not over that yet. Jeremy, when I was at Wednesday's game, that was the Ohtani game, I was strategically beforehand looking at tickets, and I was trying to, go into Savant and see, like, where Miggy mostly hits his home runs and, looking at Ohtani's velocity and
only somebody that works in broadcasting.
Well, then the thing is, I spent all that time figuring that out, and then I went to buy tickets.
And they weren't available.
They were not available. Which now they'll be available, but Chaser for 3,000 hits.
Swing and a miss. Probably won't do it this year. Still has nearly 40 plus to get to it. But still,
something else to look forward to.
And hopefully we're talking about a few more wins at the beginning of next season that we saw at the beginning of this season. I mean, you straighten yourself out in April, and who knows? I mean, you might be just outside of a wild card spot at this point. The way we've hung around the 2nd/3rd spot in the Central. Here's the 0-2, chopped up the middle for a base hit.
Nice work there by Hodo. Has been consistent as of late. Already notching a single here today. Talked about it before. Has the 2nd highest batting average for the Utica Unicorns. Hitting .261 entering today. Looking to add some cushion to this lead. Up by 1.
Flub to center, it'll be enough. Hodo stops at 2nd, so now runners in 1st and 2nd as Utica tries to pad this lead. Brandon Krenrich continues to warm for them as well. You'd venture that Zach Jones is probably done after 6 complete here today.
Lambert's still in search of his first hit. My apologies. We're on to Luxka. Silly me.
It happens. First pitch to Luska. Breaking ball in for strike 1.
You goofed up on Phillips and Childress.
Yes.
I'll goof up on Lambert and Luxka.
We each get 1 per game.
Uh-oh, got to be careful now.
Here's the 0-1. Inside, so Barry Bonds, 762. These are members of the 500 home run club. Hank Aaron 2nd, 755. Babe Ruth 3rd at 714. Alex Rodriguez 4th, 696. As Luska spins out 2-1. Then it's Pujols, still active obviously at 675. Mays 660. Ken Griffey Jr., Jim Tomei, Sammy Sosa, Frank Robinson, Mark McGuire, Harmon Killebrew. Palmero is Luska swings and misses, 2-2. Reggie Jackson.
That superstar performance by Alex Rodriguez still lives rent-free in my mind.
Yes, you'll never forget.
No. He's the one who ripped off the jersey, right?
Yes. He's one of the 2 that did that. I can't remember who else did. 3-2 on Luska now. Manny Ramirez, Mike Schmidt, David Ortiz, Mickey Mantle, Jimmy Fox, Frank Thomas, Willie McCovey, Ted Williams, Ernie Banks, Eddie Matthews, Mel Ott, Gary Sheffield, another guy who hit his 500th in a Tiger uniform, and Eddie Murray. Miguel Cabrera joins that group.
Man, I got to see that highlight, Jeremy. I want to know.
Right center.
Oh, my gosh, duh. We did just talk about that. I'm sorry. I still need to see it.
3-2 chop to second base. Castellano will get the second out here. Both runners will advance to second and third.
That sets the stage for Colby Johnson, has come up big in big moments previously, sparked the 3-run inning back in the fourth during last night's game.
Paul Nochi rising from the dugout. He has an arm throwing here. Colby Dewhurst is the man, and I'm not sure this is a performance lift if he does come out. I think it's just a pitch count at this point. He did give up a solo shot in the 5th, and maybe it's just a talking to for Burr Konak, looking for one more batter if he feels he can go.
What's your favorite Tigers moment, Jeremy?
Favorite Tigers moment?
Don't hurt yourself, though. Don't think too hard.
I mean, I think the Maglio home run to this point. Hopefully, in these next stretch of years, it'll be something a bit better in terms of a trophy coming home.
Yeah, I was at the game in 2016 when J.D. Martinez came back.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Home run off of Chris Sale.
That's awesome.
You know, we were talking about it today because Zach Jones, who started for the Unicorns, his favorite pitcher is Chris Sale.
Really? Okay. Chris Sale's had a tough go-around the last few years staying healthy. Off the end of the bat for Colby Johnson. So Burr Konak relieving Pierce Banks in this game, who went 4. Will retiring the first 2 batters he faced in the 5th, giving up the solo shot to this man. Then set down 5 in a row between the 5th and the 7th here. 2 singles by Hodo and Lambert have both been advanced with 2 outs by the ground out by Luska. And Johnson looking for some major insurance, standing on the base pass right now. The 0-1, low. 1-1 on Colby Johnson now. And they'll get it on a wild pitch. Or maybe a pass ball, kind of in between. In front of Horner just a bit and off to the side. But in the end, Hodo scratches across the plate, and it's 5-3 Unicorns. The Tigers tied in that game 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. Host of other games going on right now. There's a few that have already actually been postponed. Minnesota and New York and Texas and Boston. Must be weather related, huh?
Yeah, so do you think now they're going to be able to get the home run ball back?
Say that one more time. I had PJ talking to my ear. Yeah, it was a hurricane warning, and which is now classified as a tropical storm, so that's why those games have been canceled. Well, what did you say, Jenna?
Well, I was going to say, because Miggy didn't hit that at home, do you think they'll get the home run ball back? Think it's going to be tough?
I don't know. I mean, I think you can offer a host of things to whoever caught that ball, but you never know. Who was it a couple years ago that caught a ball that would not give it up? I can't remember what situation that was. Pujols' ball. 2-2. Mr. Stone to our left. Reminding us, Lambert on third with 2 outs and 2 strikes, and Johnson looks at a ball high, 3-2 now.
My dad is a huge Pujols fan. I swear growing up, every password in the house had some variation of the word Pujols in it.
Well, don't give that up now. Hopefully he's changed them.
No, yeah, you're good. You're good. We've grown out of it.
3-2 on the ground to De La Cruz. Johnson looking to beat it out, but Adam just beats him over at third in the end. A single by Hodo and a single by Lambert makes the difference here in the 7th inning. The Unicorns up by 2 in what it's a game that's been very tight all throughout.
When people keep repeating that you'll never fall in love, when everybody keeps retreating, but you can't seem to get enough. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Ascension Michigan Sports Medicine, we're here to treat any athlete, any injury that you might have, whether that's at the high school, the college level, or the professional level, or whether that's you just want to stay active and keep fit. And we do that through a whole journey. And you're going to see us for diagnosis with imaging. We can also do some physical therapy, which we have all of that. And we can do all the way up to the OR if you need surgery and getting you recovered as well. There's no reason to delay your care. You can get in to see us just as easily as you can see a primary care doctor. And when you do come to see us, we have all the precautions in place to keep you safe.
Well, they're going to ride with Zach Jones here, at least to begin the 7th inning. 6, 7, 8 due up. This part of the lineup has reached just once. It has produced a couple RBIs, though. 2 early ones in the 2nd inning for the Hoppers lineup. I imagine Krenrich is ready if need be. He's been throwing on and off the last inning or two as Burke looks at strike 1. So there he is, maybe grabbing another ball here. Slider spins away from Burke. That's been a very tough pitch for hitters to hit here today. I feel like he's thrown it a bit more than on average, usually around 29%. Ooh. Ouch, right off the chest of Lambert. Takes it right back, though, and discards it to first for the first out.
Man, kudos to Lambert for sticking with that. That looked like it had to hurt. You could hear the thud all the way from up here when it banged on his chest.
So the big question on that Miguel Cabrera home run was who caught it, where did it go? It actually went in the bullpen. So easy sledding there, getting that baseball back.
Yeah, we were talking about Homer 499 went into the Tigers bullpen, and 498 went to right field.
And there's some salsa spilling involved with that as well.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss by Kreitzer.
It's like Jason and I's thing, because we'll go cover the Tigers, and we love the nachos there. Mm-hmm. So then it's just such a pretty view when you're standing in the outfield, either, you know, like kind of right field, center, and he just got it on his tie that day. So funny.
I seem to always get food on my work clothes.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what.
We always look like kids on a field trip wherever we go. We'll have lunch boxes or backpacks.
Yep.
We're just eating nachos.
Swing and a miss by Kreitzer. And how about Jones? He's just a few pitches away from a complete game here in the 7th.
Yeah, Jones is keeping it very efficient. De Los Santos able to find some success today. Hard shot, first at bat.
That's 8 outs in a row for Zach. Fires quickly to Chris De Los Santos. Outside for ball 1. Corner infielders that no doubles depth here. The 1-0. Line drive to left. He's going to hook it past Phillips there. He has some speed, so let's see. Phillips and De Los Santos have decent speed. Phillips gets to it quickly and Works just a single for Chris in the end.
Man, De Los Santos has really been seeing the ball very well today here at Jimmy John's Field. Was able to time it up, send it to left field. Definitely some speed on first there, but like you said, stayed over.
We have a few people asking, will the second game be streamed? It will not, unfortunately. We apologize for that, but you can check uspbl.com for the box score after the game. Fastball away from De La Cruz here, and that is referring to a game that has to be made up and finished between these two teams, which will be done after the conclusion or shortly thereafter of this game here today. The 1-0. Fastball hits the corner for strike one. Stick around, our Auto Lab postgame show coming up next. Jason Ross Jr. will catch up with our Rochester University player of the game. 1-0, looped off the high screen. It kind of skimmed off the top and rolled back towards the stands. Some oohs and ahs came after that.
De La Cruz 0 for 2 on today's contest. Last chance here for this Hoppers lineup to get more runs on the board, down by 2.
One of his better fastballs in a while in terms of velo, 90 miles an hour. Snapped the glove loudly as well, but outside. He's been up to 92 so far here today. Goes with the slider. It's been his calling card. And off the glove of Rayburn. So the pitch breakdown coming into this afternoon, 54% fastball, 29% slider, 17% changeup. If I had to guess, maybe 35% or so slider here today, maybe a little more. The 2-2. Trying to hold it an extra beat with the changeup there was Rayburn. Home plate umpire not buying it, and things brewing intensely here with the top of the order on deck and Ben McConnell. Believe it or not, the top three in this Hoppers lineup has not combined for a hit. 0 for 12 thus far. Or 0 for 9.
Math is hard.
Sure is. Especially on the last day of the week. 3-2. Popped him up. That one is going to reach to the sweets. And this single here in the 7th inning snapped what is a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 batter in a row streak without a base runner. This is the tying run at the plate. De La Cruz has 1 home run this year in big fashion. Runner moving to second, outside and high. Runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Next up for the Eastside Diamond Hoppers, the center fielder number 2.
Rayburn seemed a little dismayed at the call. Dancing on the outside corner there for Jones. McConnell hasn't found his way to first base yet during today's game, something that he quite often is able to do. A single could bring in a run.
Line out, ground out, strikeout. Has had some decent at-bats thus far, taking some good swings. This one chopped to Lambert, and Zach Jones will have a 7-inning complete game here today. Has continued to stretch himself out as the year has gone on, as his starts have unfolded as well. As the Unicorns hold on to a big victory here today, trying to stay in first place. 5-3, the final score in this one. A single and a walk here in the 7th inning made it interesting with the top of the order due up, but nothing becomes of it. Jason Ross Jr. is with you on the flip side. He's with our Rochester University player of the game and our Auto Lab postgame show next on the USPBL Network.
If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you. If I hit a home run, then you know what's going out of the park. Yeah, bases loaded, we ain't letting up. Scoring back to back, you can count it up. United we stand together, divided we fall. Ain't no turning back, we done came too far to turn around and have a seat now. We don't compare, cause we unicorns. Illuminate the dark with my uniform. Every time you see me stand up and salute me. It ain't no competition, not even from you.
You hear about the promo that Jimmy's John's got going on? 5 off 20? How they pulling it off? Magic?
You got David's Copperfields in there? Show yourself, Copperfields!
Jimmy John's. $5 off orders of 20 or more.
Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door. Let my love open the door to your heart.
Milk, milk, milk. Yeah, guzzle milk, drink it all. Make a milk waterfall. Cookie milk, stack it tall. Milk with no rhythm at all. Make you run fast milk. Stay awake in class milk. Pour it by the glass milk. Is that a mustache milk? Boom, 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 bass milk. Smile in your face milk. Go for the goal before you know you going all the way milk. Milky high, milky hay. I hope you have a milky day. Live your best life milk. You out this world, Milky Way. Put you on the spot milk. Question, got milk? Show us what you got. Hashtag got milk.
So I was snowboarding in Lach, Switzerland at a snowboard competition, and I did basically 2 flips and 1 rotation coming out of it.
David had a bad injury to his shoulder and unfortunately was unable to continue doing what he liked to do sports-wise.
I knew I was going to be out of commission for a little bit.
We were able to do surgery, do this arthroscopically, do this outpatient, minimally invasive.
The sports medicine team at Ascension, Michigan really helped me get back to soccer and working out, but also my main goal, competing at a global snowboarding competition.
At Fifth Third Bank, we're working hard to make banking a Fifth Third better, which means we put 166.7% into everything we do.
I think you can only give 110%.
Well, with free checking, fraud protection services, and an automatic savings tool to help you quickly reach your goals, 166.7% is possible.
Oh, wait till my 8th graders hear about this. They're gonna be like, it's not possible. Well, yes it is.
This is banking, a Fifth Third better.
Dunham Sports is a proud partner of the USPBL. Big names, low prices, delivering value since 1937.
Welcome into our Auto Lab post-game show brought to you by Rochester University alongside Noah Childress of the Utica Unicorns. I'm Jason Ross Jr. after a 5-3 win for Utica over the Hoppers on a Sunday afternoon here at Jimmy John's Field. Noah, you told me earlier this season there's no feeling quite like hitting a baseball. You have 5 hits over your last 2 games. Why do you feel you've been so consistent of late?
Like I told you earlier, I just been trying to relax a little bit, not do too much, and just have fun. That's what I've been not doing this summer, is just doing a little bit too much. Not taking the fun out of baseball, but just back at it, just having fun.
Something I admired about you guys is just the will to continuously get better into the dog days of summer now, final stretch of August. What's still motivating you to improve every day?
We want that ring. We want a three-peat. That's all we want. So we got to work, grind it out, and hopefully it pays off.
And on that note, your manager, Jim Essien, is there any message from him right now to the team about how to finish strong?
Just have fun. Just keep playing, hit the ball over the fence, throw strikes, and make plays. So.
Thanks, Noah. Appreciate your time. Good luck down the stretch here. That's Noah Childress after a 5-3 win for Utica over Eastside on a Sunday here at Jimmy John's Field.